Garrett writing Nakia poetry is a clear indicator that he's not an F-boy. Boys do not write women poetry. Hi everyone, my name's Dimitri and welcome back to DimitriTube. If you've been following my channel, you all already know this season of The Bachelorette f***ing sucks. But I know y'all are craving content, so I've decided to review Fboy Island on HBOMax. The first 3 episodes dropped on Thursday the 30th, so I have a lot of work ahead of me, but I'm excited to review this show and talk about it with you all. And I know some of y'all wanted me to review Love Island, but it's just way too many episodes and I do have a day job, so hopefully this makes up for it. Now, like always, if you're enjoying my videos, please go ahead and pound that like button, pound that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell. I'm a growing YouTuber and the likes and subscribes really help me out. And just one quick housekeeping item before I get started. If I say a couple does not have a connection, it just means that I don't see a connection from what I'm seeing on my TV screen. It does not mean that person is not hot, beautiful, intelligent, sexy, whatever. It just means I do not see a connection. It is not an attack against that person's character. So don't be dragging me in these YouTube comments if I'm talking about one of your favorites and I don't see a connection. Now let's dive in and start talking about the episode. So the episode starts with Nikki Glaser introducing the show and explaining the purpose of the show. So far, I'm loving the host, Nikki Glaser. She's a stand-up comedian and she's really fun. She's definitely keeping the pace of the show. If I could compare it to something, it has a similar pace to Too Hot to Handle, but this show seems to have more substance to it. So there are 24 guys and 3 girls. Out of the 24 guys, 12 are F-boys and 12 are good guys. And each of the guys is trying to win the heart of one of the 3 women, but the 3 women need to figure out who are the nice guys and who are the F-boys, and they all have a chance to win $100,000. And Nikki says whoever remains at the end will have a chance to win $100,000. So it's not exactly clear how they win $100,000, but I'm sure they'll explain it further into the season. Also, the guys self-identified, so I'm guessing the guys told production whether or not they consider themselves an F-boy or a nice guy. From the jump, one of the first things I noticed is that some of these guys have some very unique job descriptions. First up, we have Paul, the fridge deliverer. I was so confused. Wouldn't it be refrigerator delivery driver? Also, why is he only delivering refrigerators? Wouldn't he also be delivering washers and dryers and like other appliances? Like, I feel like it'd be appliance delivery driver. Next, we have Tariq, who is a forensic nutritionist. If anyone has an idea of what that is, please let me know below in the comments. Next, we have Garrett M. He's a Bitcoin investor from LA. From that title alone, you already know he's a boy. And lastly, we have Greg. He is a TikToker. Now, some of y'all may argue and say that being a TikToker is not a real job, but y'all, it is 2021. A lot of those jobs our parents and grandparents had just don't exist anymore, or they don't pay enough. So being an influencer is a real job. And as you can tell from watching this video, I'm trying to get into it too. So don't forget to pound that like button. And I did look up Greg's TikTok. He has 3 million TikTok followers, which is a lot of followers. But other than him being extremely attractive, I really did not understand why he has so many followers. But keep in mind, I really do not get on TikTok much. When I get on it, I just feel like I'm wasting brain cells. Also, Greg has 3 million followers and I don't, so clearly he's doing something right. So going back to the show, Nikki introduces the 3 women, Nakia, Sarah, and CJ, and they are all bad. The girls are absolutely gorgeous and all the guys are into it. And when each woman is introduced, she has to do a catwalk right past the guys. And I thought that was like kind of weird. I feel like HBO could have thought of a better way to introduce them, but whatever. After the women do their catwalk, Nikki gives the women wristbands and they each get to pick 2 guys for VIP that they get to spend extra time with at the pool party later. I thought that was a genius idea. Why not give the guys you're immediately interested in a little more time? So then after that, everyone gets a chance to go get ready. The girls get to stay in the villa and then the guys get to stay on another part of the island. And this island is gorgeous. They didn't say in the episode where they were staying, but I Googled it and they're in the Cayman Islands. Okay, so now we're moving on to the pool party. Personally, if you're trying to find love, I don't think a pool party where you're in your bathing suits is a great way to start that. I would prefer something more puritanical where I have my clothes on. And by the way, the majority of the guys look like they could be ASOS models, except Garrett P, who we're gonna talk more about later. So the first guy I want to talk about is Peter. He is very cute and he is from Springfield, Virginia. So from the jump, I have to root for Peter. He's from Springfield, Virginia, and I work in Springfield, Virginia. I literally had to run into the office the other day, so no choice but to stand. Okay, so the ladies all go downstairs for the pool party and they look amazing. And shout out to CJ's sequin dress. That is a very gorgeous dress. And Sarah looks good, but I really don't like her dress. Her dress has these cuts on the side and it makes like the shape of a circle, and I just don't think it looks very good. But don't get me wrong, she still looks good. I just don't really like the dress. Oh, and I apologize, I forgot to mention this before we move on to the pool party. So when the girls were chatting earlier, the girls were talking about how they're gonna approach a game, and for the most part, these girls have zero strategy, which if you're trying to win $100,000, I'm gonna need y'all to come up with a strategy. So to start off the pool party, there's like 6 or more guys trying to talk to Sarah, and Garrett M beelines past all of them. Garrett M tells Sarah, I beelined past everyone, I grabbed your hand, can I have a bracelet? And Sarah responds and says, yes, that's valid, here's a bracelet. Now, I honestly think that was a production thing and production made Sarah do that because that didn't really warrant a bracelet. Also, the guys with bracelets do in fact get more time, but they never say how much more time they get. So after that, Garrett M asks Sarah if she's been in any serious relationships before, and Sarah says she's been in one serious relationship, but Sarah says ultimately it did not work out because it's not enough to love. You also need to have compatible lifestyles. So I will say, after finishing the episode, it really, to me, seems like Sarah is trying to find true love and trying to find the one. With the other 2 women, Nakia and CJ, it's questionable if they're looking for love, but Sarah seems to truly be looking for it. Moving on, next we get to see a one-on-one between CJ and Jamie, and in my opinion, there is absolutely no connection here. During the one-on-one, Jamie is genuinely trying to get to know CJ, and CJ says, I'm bratty. I like people who balance me. If someone matches my energy, we're gonna get arrested. I have my dramatic moments. So Jamie replies, so you have a little toxicity. So after that, CJ gets mad and she storms off. So first of all, that is a huge red flag. Literally, that is a red flag the size of Texas. If there are any guys watching this video, if you meet a woman and the first thing she tells you about herself is that she's bratty, make sure you go and run in the other direction. You do not want a bratty woman. A bratty woman is selfish and she is childish, and that is not someone you can build a life with. This very much seems like CJ wants a guy who's gonna praise her and just agree with everything she wants, and if anyone critiques her, she's gonna get mad. The problem is Jamie was gently trying to tell her that her behavior is not okay, and CJ just goes and runs away. She can easily do that because there's 8+ other guys trying to get her attention. So CJ really needs to be checked, but given this situation, there's a good chance it may not happen. Next, we have a one-on-one with Nakia, and I believe it's Cameron B. Nakia tells Cameron that there's a bug in her drink, and he runs to get another one. Now, Cameron B comes back and tries to talk to her, but Colin steals her away. Now, Nakia says that what Colin did was very rude, but she liked it. Now, I did not like this because Nakia is just encouraging bad behavior in the house. But in her defense, she owned it. I really like the fact that she owned the fact that she's encouraging this bad behavior, so I'm not too mad at this. Also, Colin is absolutely gorgeous, but I wish he had a haircut though. Next, we're moving on to a one-on-one with CJ and Peter. From the jump, CJ tells Peter that she's bratty. Again, I do not think that's a good way to introduce yourself. So after that, CJ asks Peter what he likes to do for fun, and Peter responds, sleeping. And CJ responds, oh my god, me too. And then after that, Peter makes some comment about let's sleep together and make babies or something, and then CJ automatically labels him as a Fboy. Later on in this episode, that did work in CJ's favor, but it's clear to me that CJ is not looking for love. She's not trying to get to know these guys. like at all. Moving on. One of the guys is named Garrett P. He's actually one of the only guys who does not look like an ASOS model, and he tries to talk to Nakia. He gently whispers in her ear, "I would love to talk to you for a couple minutes." Then Nakia says that he's coming on way too strong. Now, this to me was 100% Nakia playing games, and she's gaslighting. There are 24 guys and 3 girls. So to get time, you have to come on strong and be forward, or you're not going to get any time. Now, it's possible that something happened between them off camera that we didn't see, but to get upset at one of the guys for coming on too strong is pretty ridiculous to me. Also, Nakia may very much just not be that into Garrett P, but Nakia normally goes for Fboys, so she should probably give a chance to the guy that she normally doesn't go for. Next, we have a one-on-one with CJ and Casey. During their one-on-one, Casey asks CJ, "What does she want?" And CJ responds, "I don't know." At the beginning of the show, Nikki Glaser said there are 3 women looking for love, but we go to CJ getting asked what she wants, and she says, "I don't know." Why is CJ on this show? It's slowly becoming clear to me that CJ is probably a producer pawn. Next, we get a quick one-on-one between Sarah and Paul, the fridge deliverer. So doesn't Paul look a little bit like Mario Lopez back when he was on Saved by the Bell with the Jerry curl? Am I the only one who sees it? And lastly, to wrap up the pool party, Chris goes to talk to CJ, and Chris accuses Colin of being an F-boy with no evidence to back it up. And apparently Chris wants to get to know CJ, but he spent all of his time talking about Colin. On the next day, each girl gets to pick one guy and they get to do a one-on-one daytime date. So for the first one-on-one date, Garrett M and Sarah get to go out on a yacht. This was a really cool date and HBO got a budget. So Garrett M is fun, he's chill. He's just one of those guys that's just really easy to get along with. But we know he's a F-boy because he admitted it in the confessional earlier. During the date, he opens up to Sarah about being adopted and dealing with some abandonment issues, but he even admits that he only discussed that so he can get closer to having sex. So I will admit, I like the fact that Garrett M is being so honest with the audience up front. Like, he's trying to fool Sarah, but when it comes to the audience, he's being very upfront in the confessionals about the game he's playing. And that's just very interesting to me. Also, last thing I want to mention, while they're on the date, Sarah says that in the future, she wants to build a brand. I also thought that was very interesting because a lot of the time on these dating shows, people will hide the fact that they want to build a brand or they want to get into TV or music, etc., because they don't want to be seen as not there for the right reasons. And I really like that Sarah leaned into that because you can find love and build a brand at the same time. Like, I hate that on a lot of these dating shows, it's very much an either or mentality, whereas right now, HBO is very much saying it's okay to want both. Next, we have a one-on-one with CJ and Casey. Now, absolutely no shade to Casey, but Casey would have been one of the last guys I would have picked personally. Like, Casey is cute and I see the appeal, but to me, there's like 12 other guys I would have picked for a date before him. So for their date, they go paddleboarding. This is not my ideal type of date, but I would try it. And during the date, nothing really happens. And lastly, we have a date with Nakia and Colin. For their date, they go horseback riding along the beach. This is an awesome date. I would love to do this. Now, Colin is gorgeous, but I just don't think he's the brightest bulb in the tanning bed. During the date, Nakia says that she's dated F-boys in the past, and one of them slept with one of her friends. And then Colin responds and says, "That's the biggest thing. That is an absolute no-go." Now, what did y'all think of that? Please let me know below in the comments. Now, I personally think lying is worse, but don't get me wrong, sleeping with my friends or lying, they're both equally as bad, but I do think lying is worse. Also, that says a lot about Nakia that she has friends who would sleep with her boyfriend. Nakia needs to pick better friends. After that, Nakia tells Colin that there's a rumor going around that he's an F-boy. But this is kind of silly because the guys are competitors. So to me, that's kind of expected to happen. At this point, I'm not sure if Colin is an F-boy. I honestly don't think he's bright enough to be playing a game. So I think he's actually a good guy. So then after that, Colin confronts Garrett P about the rumor, and it's not really clear why Colin confronts Garrett P. I guess they had a little animosity earlier in the show that was not on camera, and the argument was pretty weak. It made Colin look a little petty. Okay, now we're moving on to the elimination. During this round, each girl gets to pick 2 guys, and each 2 guys get to defend themselves and explain why they should stay. So Andrew, Garrett P, and Peter all end up getting eliminated. It was pretty clear that Peter was gonna get eliminated, and Andrew, I don't even remember seeing him on that episode, so when he got eliminated, I didn't care. Before Garrett got eliminated, he was put against Colin, and Garrett decides to read Nakia a poem. Now, the poem he wrote was a weak poem, but it was so dumb for Nakia to choose Colin over Garrett, because Garrett writing Nakia poetry is a clear indicator that he's not an F-boy. Boys do not write women poetry. And that is the end of the episode. And just a few more thoughts about this show before I wrap up. I feel like HBO should have had 4 or 5 girls instead of 3, but at the same time, having 3 women, they probably need to have $300,000 available in prize money, so they may have not been able to budget more than that. Next thing I want to mention, if one of the guys shows interest in a girl and it doesn't work out, or they learn they don't have a connection, it's not clear how they're going to handle things after that. Like, that guy could go after one of the other women, but wouldn't one of the other women feel like they're a second choice? I just really want to know how they're going to handle that in future episodes. So we'll just have to wait and see. Now, if you enjoyed this review, please go ahead and pound that like button, pound that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell, and I will see you all on the next one. Have a good one. Bye.